don't be sorry. It's we're used to it. I know, because with all the veterans, a lot of times it's disrespectful not to say ma'am, right?
Yes.
But on this show, it just makes us feel old, so.
I hear you, and I get chided out a lot for that.
Oh, no, we know. It's, we're so glad you're here. So tell me a little more about yourself and what you're doing with all these crazy groups.
Well, I'm a 20-year naval veteran. I retired in 2003, and after retirement, I worked a lot with my wife, Laurie Beth, with her parent corporation called LBS Productions, where she runs DJ services, she sings, she also is involved with karaoke and things like that. And after a while I got involved with a little bit of artwork and some admin functions for her company, and helped out a little bit at some of the shows with providing light shows and laser shows and things like that.
Nice.
And a little bit later we decided that we would form a separate company called Mustard Seed Music and Sports Promotion, which I would basically be the head of, and continue with the artwork, the promotion, the advertising, the net presence, and also promoting and establishing some new acts that we felt is about the right time to come onto the playing field.
Oh, sounds good. Tell me a little about the art. I didn't quite pick up on all that.
Well, I do a little bit of photography. I also do a lot of their flyers, a lot of the artwork for the promotional side of it, for web presence and things like that, logos.
And are you also an artist on the, as well?
A little,
just for your...
it's a hobby.
Whenever I hear that, I know it's going to be really
He's
good.
really good.
I can just tell.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, and do you have some of your artwork posted online by any chance? That I can able to see?
Yes, this, well, any flyer for the group Back in Session, or the band, the duo Positive Emotion, or the duo Vanilla Burritos, most of those flyers I create with the intention to show what dates they're playing, and what locales. And sometimes I use original artwork, sometimes I incorporate some things that most people wouldn't do. For instance, Back in Session plays a lot at the Great Chow in Abington. They played there last night. It was a raucous crowd, great time. Everyone sounded wonderful. They had one train wreck, we won't talk about that, but involved in Golden State, so we'll talk about that.
Leave that out, Ron.
Yeah. But what I do with the Great Chow is, in their flyers, I incorporate a little bit of the Chinese culture. And for instance, I've incorporated in the past lucky coins in the poster. The colors red and green, which the Chinese find lucky, and it's a little subliminal, but it also helps to add to the mystique of the band and things like that. Last night's flyer featured a fortune cookie, which the fortune read, "You will have a great time at the Great Chow this Saturday night with Back in Session." So it's a little subliminal. They're breaking a fortune cookie, you might see a picture right next to you that says the same thing.
Now tell me about this New Bedford, the Battleship Cove event that you have planned, and some of the others as well. But that is very exciting. Fred told me a little about that.
Yes, ma'am. Sandy.
That's okay.
In conjunction with another of one of your fellow broadcast shows here, Veterans Voice,
Yes,
which airs
great
on
show.
Thursday nights with Greg Brasso and Charlie Duquette, and all with the blessing of Mr. Perry. Mr. Perry, wonderful man.
Yes.
We got involved when I was asked to do an interview for the Veterans Voice, which is a little clip they do at the beginning of the show. And once we got down here, Laurie Beth came down with me, and they asked her a few questions. They found out that she was a professional singer-songwriter. So she's involved in music, and they asked her to perform a couple of songs on the show.
Nice.
For a light-hearted show towards the end of the year, where they were getting away from some of the heavier issues, and they wanted to bring some lighter side to the Veterans Voice show. So Laurie Beth came down, and she sang a few songs. And then, God bless her, Charlie Duquette's mom passed away a little bit later than that. And Charlie asked Laurie if she would do a rendition of A Mother's Love is a Blessing. So Laurie came down and performed live one evening as well. And we got to talking that Greg and Charlie are involved with bringing awareness to what veterans need to do, both their families and both to themselves. They have these events that they hold throughout the year, and they said that they had a great draw, and they have sometimes it's a little sparser draw, and they were asking what they could do to maybe spice things up a little. So we talked it amongst ourselves, and we felt that because, I want to give back as a Navy veteran, we felt that with Mustard Seed Music and Sports Promotion that we tie in with WATD and the Veterans Voice Show in particular and create a series of music festivals called the Mass Vets Music Festivals for the veterans and their families to come out and understand and meet people and get an awareness of the benefits that they're entitled to, or maybe they're having some problems and they need to talk to somebody. The VA will be there.
So it's a combination. It's almost like a festival where you bring information but also entertain people.
Exactly. We felt that we'd want to bring the families together, and what better way than the universal language of music. So, and in the process of doing these things for the Veterans Voice, we looked at the shows and thought of certain venues we might wanted to perform at, and we wanted to hit around the state. So the first show that we're going to be doing is going to be local. It'll be in Brockton in June. We haven't nailed down an exact date yet.
Where will that be?
It's either going to be at the Brockton VA complex or the Brockton Fairgrounds. They're still debating on which that one will be. And then in July we're up at Beverly at Lynch Park, right on the waterfront. We're looking at July 11th for that. Should be confirmed by the end of this week. Up in Gloucester at the same time, the Moving Wall will be present. So they're going to have a good presence up on the North Shore. We hope anybody listening today might want to take a trek up there. Should be a great time. And then, as Sandy asked, we get to the Battleship, Massachusetts.
And when is that?
And that is August 13th. It's a Thursday. The event will be free to veterans and their family with proper ID. Greg's going to be putting something out online and on the radio.
So you have to be a veteran or with a veteran?
Well, no, that's not. The public is always welcome to any of these events.
Okay, that's important.
The Battleship Cove area is a special event because it's a museum area.
Sure.
So the general public would pay the fee to get into the museum area. However, because we were afforded the opportunity and a great pleasure, the bands will be performing on the fantail and flight deck of the USS Massachusetts. Across the river is a state park with a DCR building. Plenty of picnic area. There's picnic areas in front by the carousel. So the public will be able to hear and see the bands, and also if they wanted to come through the complex, they would pay whatever fees.
You know what, Jim, we want to hear more about this, but why don't we, if you're willing, to come back, because we were giving us plenty of notice,
Yes,
I'd like to have you come back in the summer. We'll be in touch real soon and book a date to tell people more about at least that event, but also you have another one in the summer as well. Is the Moving Wall going to be traveling all around again? Because we saw that in Plymouth. In fact, in a minute you're going to hear a song that they inspired that Keith wrote because we saw the Moving Wall.
I believe it is being shuffled around.
Fantastic.
I would like to mention one
Please do.
important cause that we're supporting next week.
Okay.
Next week at the Pembroke Country Club, the band back in session will be performing a show for the Prom Angels benefit. Prom Angels is an organization that provides prom for special needs students, from everything from the dresses, corsages,
What
tuxedos.
ages are welcome?
I believe it's 16 and above. McKenna, you'd have to speak with
So it can
Kevin
be adults as
McKenna,
well. Okay. Well, we'll talk with them about that.
that's one event, and there are tickets still available. It's $40. It's at the Pembroke Country Club. There's talk that
So this is not the actual prom, this is the
it's for the fundraiser
to make the prom happen?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha,
Yes.
okay, all
And
right.
there is talk that the Super Bowl trophy may be present. Maybe I'm going to get in trouble for saying that.
It's a maybe,
And,
that's
uh,
okay,
Working on
you
it.
said maybe.
But there's at 6 o'clock the doors open. There's ticket sales for raffles. At 7 o'clock there's an Italian buffet. 8 o'clock back in session the band, which Laurie Beth, Peter, Tony, Christopher, and Brian Kramer involved in, will come on. And about halfway through the show, great comedian Johnny Joyce will be joining us, and he'll do his set, and then back in session we'll come back and finish the night off with a great night of dancing.
Sounds
They do everything from Aretha Franklin to Lady Gaga.
wow.
from Marvin Gaye to Robin Thicke. Is that too soon?
Lori Beth, that's,
Katy
you're
Perry.
singing that band, right?
I'm the lead singer
Lead
for Back in Session.
Okay, if people wanna know more about that fundraiser, where do they go?
They can go to promangels.org.
promangels.org.
They can also check the Facebook pages. I've blasted it out on LinkedIn.
And where can we find you? Are you on Facebook as well?
I'm the Mustard Seed is actually on ReverbNation.com.
Okay. I know Lori Beth is on, so the people can always find Lori Beth and then reach you as well.
Yes.
Lori Beth.